message.
Yeah, Peter, this is Happy. Who are those guys, huh? One of the guys made of mud? What's going on? Call me back.
When I shut that spell down, we started getting some visitors from every universe.
Multiverse is real.
Was that a dinosaur?
Hey, Dr. Mike. Tired of doing the whole good guy thing, huh?
What's up, Doc?
Maybe I should stay in touch.
Who the hell are you, man?
I am Venom.
Welcome back, everyone. This is my new Spider-Man No Way Home video for Morbius in the Venom Let There Be Carnage post-credit scene crossover. I know there are a lot of questions because a lot of the Easter eggs in the Morbius trailer are so confusing. There are Easter eggs for every single version of Spider-Man and Venom, but thanks to a lot of the new footage, now it all seems like it makes more sense how they're connecting all these things and why they're using Easter eggs the way they're using them. So we'll break it all down. If you're brand new to the channel, be sure to subscribe to get all the videos. I'm also doing videos for the Hawkeye series. Episode 1 and Episode 2 are dropping later tonight, and I'll be posting my videos for those tomorrow. And because we need to talk about the Venom Let There Be Carnage post-credit scene, just big spoiler warning if you have not seen the new Venom movie yet. But during the Spider-Man No Way Home trailer, we see Doctor Strange blaming Spider-Man for messing up his spell to make everyone forget that he's Spider-Man, and now they've started getting quote-unquote visitors from every universe of the multiverse. Not just a couple different universes, he says every universe. But then they show the Sinister Six characters from the Tobey Maguire and the Andrew Garfield Spider-Man movies, and then connecting things to Venom, we saw the Venom Let There Be Carnage post-credit scene with the multiverse crossover, Venom being teleported to the MCU from the Venom movie universe.
But rest assured, dear viewers, we here at the Daily Bugle will not rest until we've uncovered the behind his web of lies. I'm Jay Jonas.
Cannot wait to see Venom go after Spider-Man. But when they released the newest Morbius trailer just a little while ago, it had a billion different Easter eggs for all the different Spider-Man movie franchises, and there were so many questions about what was going on. The Morbius trailer references the Tom Holland MCU murder plot points, but they use the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man costume to do that, and it's an image taken from a PlayStation 2 game. We have the Andrew Garfield Amazing Spider-Man version of Oscorp, despite the fact that we know that they're using Willem Dafoe's Green Goblin from the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man movies in Spider-Man No Way Home. We have the Tobey Maguire version of the Daily Bugle newspaper, despite the fact that they also reference Black Cat and the Rhino from the Amazing Spider-Man movies. If you don't remember, there was a version of Black Cat who had not become Black Cat in Amazing Spider-Man 2. We also have the MCU Michael Keaton Vulture from Spider-Man Homecoming and a direct name drop reference to Venom using his trademark catchphrase, like he says, "I am Venom," which is clearly playing on the "We are Venom" catchphrase. So the Morbius trailer is like this giant soup of every Spider-Man movie ever and all the Venom movies mixed together with the Easter eggs in a super confusing way.
I am so confused right now.
And I think the answer to how all that makes sense is in the newest Spider-Man No Way Home trailers. During the new trailer, we see Doctor Strange yelling at Spider-Man about messing the spell up, them getting visitors from every single universe in the multiverse, and that means that reality has started to break down. Like, we actually see that happening in the trailer. They're coming through, but I can't stop it as he starts screaming. You literally see the tears in reality around the Statue of Liberty. And because of that, any random thing from other universes and other timelines can bleed into the main MCU universe. Now, originally, the Morbius movie was set to be released a full year before Spider-Man No Way Home came out, so we would have originally seen this scene of Vulture crossing over with Morbius first, then we would have seen Venom Let There Be Carnage in that post-credit scene with him crossing over into the MCU, being teleported. And then almost a year after that, we would have seen Doctor Strange and Spider-Man perform the spell that breaks reality, where everything from all the different movies start getting mixed together in the MCU. So I think the idea is the timelines of some of these scenes in the Morbius trailer, the Morbius movie, in Venom Let There Be Carnage post-credit scene are all meant to overlap with what's happening during the events of Spider-Man No Way Home. And it's just that all the movies were coming out at very different times in real life. So we would have been getting this big interconnected multiverse story just spread out over the course of a couple years.
That feels weird, but I'll allow it.
So I think the explanation for what's happening in the Morbius movie, this confusing mixture of all of these different Easter eggs from different Spider-Man movies, is probably because of the way Spider-Man messes up Doctor Strange's spell, effectively hitting the shuffle button on all of reality. Big local man ruins everything kind of moment. Classic Spider-Man. It would not be a Spider-Man movie if he didn't break reality somehow. It's the only logical way you explain. You have all these Andrew Garfield versions of things mixing with Tom Holland versions and Tobey Maguire Spider-Man details in the Venom movies, all inside a Sony Morbius movie. Also, it does have to be said, second option here, there's always the possibility that the Sony people who made the Morbius movie had absolutely no idea what they were doing with these Easter eggs, and they just threw a bunch of different ones at a wall and saw what stuck, without any super deep thought given to the how and the what of all the details. But I think because they delayed the Morbius movie so much in real life, and now it's coming out after Spider-Man No Way Home, that gave them time to fix their explanation for how all these Easter eggs and crossovers work. And now they'll just say that Spider-Man breaking reality is why everybody crosses over into the MCU. Tobey Maguire, Andrew Garfield, all their Sinister Six villains, the Venom character, and now Morbius, for those of you that want a Morbius MCU Blade crossover. And when it comes to things like logo Easter eggs and really, really small details, Kevin Feige and the Marvel MCU people and then the Sony people on the other side of the aisle separately just kind of leave that to each other to deal with in their own movies. Like some of these Sony movies are now connected to the MCU because of what they're doing in Spider-Man No Way Home, but Kevin Feige, for example, only gives them a few story notes here and there on most of the Sony spin-off movies. He's not like a full producer the way he is on the Marvel MCU movies. The Marvel people don't control everything that Sony does with the Venom movies and the Morbius movies. So that just leads to a couple inconsistencies sometimes between these big crossovers. But thankfully, Local Man Ruins Everything, Spider-Man Breaks Reality, it's an easy way to fix all those inconsistencies. And what's actually going on with this Vulture-Morbius crossover scene in the Morbius movie? During the events of the film, Morbius gets hauled to the same prison where Vulture was being kept in Spider-Man Homecoming. The Morbius movie takes place in New York City, if that wasn't clear. You notice Vulture's wearing the same white prison jumpsuit that he was wearing at the end of Spider-Man Homecoming. And when they cross paths here, Vulture is getting ready to escape, Prison Break style. But here, he knows all about Morbius turning into a vigilante with superpowers, so when he says, "You got tired of doing the good guy thing, huh? Let's stay in touch," he's trying to recruit Morbius for a new team that he's putting together, and that's meant to be a teaser for future Sinister Six spin-off movie plans that Sony has. They're doing the same thing that they failed to do after Amazing Spider-Man 2. So in the Amazing Spider-Man 2 post-credit scene, they have this big scene teasing Sinister Six that was meant to set up a solo movie franchise, like a separate Sinister Six movie that was different from Amazing Spider-Man 3. Obviously, things did not work out for Andrew Garfield. They rebooted with Tom Holland's Spider-Man in the MCU. But now Sony is trying to do the same thing, a separate franchise of Sinister Six movies. Not all of them having to feature Tom Holland's Spider-Man. Some of them will probably feature other versions of Spider-Man that they'll eventually introduce, like live-action Miles Morales Spider-Man, Silk, Spider-Woman. Sony has already announced a couple different versions of Spider-Man that they're introducing in future movies. So they really are spinning up to more live-action Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse type of stuff. And because there's so much Sinister Six stuff going on in the Spider-Man No Way Home trailer, but there's only 5 Sinister Six characters, a lot of people are now thinking that Michael Keaton's Vulture will be that 6th member of the team. But here's the thing with Sinister Six and Spider-Man No Way Home, they're not actually the Sinister Six team. It's just a bunch of villain characters from different universes who at one point in the comics were members of a Sinister Six team. It's not like all 6 of them will come together and say, "We are the Sinister Six, let's go kill Spider-Man." It seems like Dr. Octopus actually winds up helping Spider-Man fight against these other characters, and the actual villain team-up is going to be something more like Green Goblin with Electro, with Sandman, and the Lizard. So yes, it is Sinister Six, but you can't really call it Sinister Six because technically they're not all 6 of them teaming up together. But if there was any confusion about this, yes, they are using all this multiverse crossover to connect the Morbius movie to the MCU movies with the idea that I think eventually they would love to cross over Morbius with MCU Blade and other darker characters. I've talked a little bit about the darker team-up that Marvel is slowly building in the background too. Like you have Avengers 5 with the traditional Avengers team forming again, but there's also a darker team of supernatural characters that they're slowly putting together, like the Eternals post-credit scene. You have Blade and the Black Knight character getting ready to team up. Also with the idea that we'll see that continue in the Moon Knight series. I've already done a Moon Knight trailer video, so I'll link that at the end of this too. But hopefully that explains how everything is going to be connected after these next couple of movies. Big reminder too, tomorrow, Hawkeye Episode 1 and Episode 2 are releasing. My videos for both of those episodes will post on Wednesday. Make sure you have alerts enabled for my channel so you don't miss that. Everyone click here for my full Spider-Man No Way Home trailer video and that invisible Andrew Garfield scene, and click here for my new Moon Knight trailer video. Thank you so much for watching. Everyone stay safe, and I'll see you guys in the next one.